Good morning, children. So today in this video, I will continue chapter number 10, Motion and Types of Motion. So children, already we have discussed the measurement concept, how we can measure the short distances, long distances, and how can we measure the length of a curved line. So next part of the chapter is motion and its type. So first of all, let's see what is the definition of motion. So an object is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to its surroundings in a given time. So when object keep on moving or keep on changing its position time to time, that object is said to be in motion. And children, on the other hand, if an object does not change its position with respect to time, it remain at only one place, then the object is said to be at rest position. Okay, so this is the definition of when we say that the object is moving and when we say that object is at rest position. Next point is motion is always observed and measured with the reference of a point. Suppose we take any of the point, reference point, with that we can observe or we can measure the motion. And as we know that all living things show motion, whereas non-living things show motion only when some force is acting on it. So easily you can differentiate between a living and non-living things. So you know living things move from one place to another. They shows the motion, and non-living things do not move from one place to another, and they do not show any kind of the motion. So they change their position only when the force is applied on it. So I hope the concept of motion is clear to you. Then that one, when the object is said to be in motion and when the object is said to be at rest position. So next, children, we will discuss about the types of motion. Different types of motion we will be discussing. So in your book, two types of the motion is there. One is translatory motion and other is circulatory motion. So let's discuss the two types of motion, translatory and circulatory motion. So see the definition of translatory motion. The motion in which all points of a moving body move uniformly along a straight line. That type of motion is called a translatory motion. So children, you can see in the diagram also. So if you see in the figure, the car is moving on a road. Straight road is there and the apple is falling directly on the earth. Means the straight line or the straight motion that is followed. So this type of a motion is known as a translatory motion when the object move uniformly along a straight line. So this type of motion is known as a translatory motion. Now translatory motion is divided into two parts. One is rectilinear motion and second is curvilinear motion. Means further translatory motion has been divided into two types of motion, rectilinear as well as curvilinear motion. So let's see what is rectilinear motion. If a body moves in a straight line, it is called a rectilinear motion. And you can see in the figure that rectilinear motion is there when the cars are moving on a road in a straight line. And on the other hand, when the parade is there, during the parade, these persons or the soldiers move in a proper straight line. So this type of a motion is known as a rectilinear motion. Next, second type of motion is curvilinear motion. So in this, if a body moves along a curved path, then it is said to have a curvilinear motion. Means a body is moving along a curved path. So you can see in the figure, the car is moving, the long and steep curves are there. Look how car is able to move on the curved path. So this type of a motion is known as a curvilinear motion. So first type of motion we had discussed, the translatory motion. Translatory motion is further divided into two types of motion. One is rectilinear motion and other is a curvilinear motion. So let's see next the circular motion. An object is said to be in circular motion when it moves around a fixed point called axis. So children, let me explain. You used to draw a circle. So in a circle, the center is a fixed point and the radius from the center of a circle is always equal. So means when an object is moving in a circular motion around a fixed point, that is known as a circular type of motion. So you can see the figure, means around here in this figure, around a pole that swings are moving. Similarly here, around a fixed point that is known as the axis, the swings are moving. So this type of a motion can be considered as a circular motion. So I hope the concept is clear. And next, circular motion is of different types. One is revolution and other is rotatory motion. Again, children, you are familiar with these words. Maybe in geography, you have read these words, revolution and rotatory motion. So let's differentiate between these two types of motion. These two types of motion again comes under the heading of circular motion. Now, revolution, what does it means? When a body as a whole moves in a circular path, its motion is called a revolution and the body is said to be revolved. So best example is that around the sun, the earth is moving around it. Okay, it revolves around the sun. So that type of a motion is known as a revolution motion. Revolutionary motion, that is known as. Next is a rotatory motion. When a body undergoes translatory motion in such a way that its parts cover different distances in a given time is said to be a rotatory motion. So that rotation is around a fixed point. Okay, like you can see that how Earth rotates around its axis. So first that we have done, that Earth rotates around the sun. That was a revolution. And now here the Earth rotate on its axis. That is known as a rotation motion. So in different figures, here the different figures you can say. Here in this figure also, the blades are moving around a fixed path. So that type of motion is known as a rotatory motion. So children, we have differentiated between the different types of the motion. About the circular motion, circular motion is further divided into revolution and rotatory motion. I think now you are able to differentiate between different types of motion. So I hope the concept is clear. The two types of motion we have discussed today. One is a translatory motion and second is a circular motion. So children, revise the concept. In next video, we'll continue with the different types of the motion. Two different types of motions I will be continuing in the next video. Thank you.